Welcome to Garden of the Spirit, a class studying apples from the orchard. This class meets in Long Meadow, Massachusetts, and is held in memory of Malka Ruth Pasmosha, Margaret Vogel of blessed memory. Apples from the Orchard contains selections of Kabbalah from the Arizal of Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, based on the weekly Torah portion, superbly translated and explained by Rabbi Moshe Wisniewski. Hey, so far, we'll find out in 14 days. Why? Well, if we're coughing and fever, we'll know that it was from Purim.
I can't get sick today.
So I wore my.
Today I can't get sick.
No.
What is why I can't.
Right. Happy birthday, Alan. 7
Today,
times 10.
today's the
Hebrew birthday.
the real birthday, right?
Yes. Happy
That's why I had a piece,
right.
so I wouldn't have had it.
Death by chocolate.
Yeah.
So, I can't wear my Purim tie the other 11 months of the year.
Right.
So I get my money's worth. I was wearing it today, Shushan Purim. And I was getting ready for a funeral and putting all my stuff together. I get, what is it? My shears for Korea
Right.
and all this stuff. And I had to run into Shiva for something. I'm walking in, and I see my reflection in the door. I see my bright green
I can't do that.
Purim tie. So I called up the house and had someone bring one down, and I pulled up. Okay. Remember where we stopped?
I don't.
We're up to
10:44, 10:45.
10:45.
I think. Do 10:44 at the bottom of the page.
10:44 at the bottom.
At the bottom.
We did that where the king.
Yeah.
We did that. Let's go to the way bottom.
The way bottom. Okay.
Okay.
With Y.
Therefore. 10:44 at the bottom.
10:44. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Therefore, a righteous person rules by the fear of Hashem, for the divine portion of his life soul is within him, which is part of the king, a portion of Hashem above. He is like the viceroy to whom the king has given his signet ring. As long as he possesses the king's seal, he is accorded the honor of the king himself, and even the king himself will not contravene his decrees. It is axiomatic in Judaism that Hashem fulfills the decrees of the righteous as it is written. He does the will of those who fear him. It follows that when a person is good and goes in the ways of Hashem, he connects all the worlds together and gives power to his king. Thus it is written in this parsha, give greatness to our Hashem.
Ready? Questions? We answered everything. Okay, so let me just repeat. Let me just repeat the meaning of this. That when we speak about God, we're speaking about a continuum. We're talking about maybe what we imagine as Hashem, but then there is the divine light that comes down to our physical world. That divine light travels a path from the essence until here, and this is the lowest spot. It's the last station. And when we refer to Hashem, we're actually referring to different places along that continuum. Usually between the core, or the nucleus, and between our world. We've spoken a lot about the 4 stages of creation. For our purposes, usually we refer to Hashem, that's the first stage of creation. How Hashem is manifest at that level, how the divine light shines at that level at the first stage. But then there's the infinite light that's higher than the process of creation and before the process of creation. And within that, there are subtle differences. And so when we say Hashem, we're referring to somewhere along that line. It can be within the process of creation. It can be above the process of creation, where the light shines stronger and stronger as you go higher up. It's closer to the nucleus. One issue is, so when we do mitzvahs, exactly how high up does it affect? Along that line. That's one question, one issue. Here, we give power to Hashem. At what level? How high up are we able to affect? Are we able to either give power to Hashem, which may mean that we cause the light to shine stronger at a certain level. So that we say, Amen Yehi Shmei Rabbah, may Hashem's name be Mevorach, may Hashem's name be blessed. We're ascribing greatness to Hashem. Well, that has an effect up to a certain point. What kind of effect? That it causes more light to shine in that area. It causes an abundance of light at that level of that continuum. And very in brief, that's what this refers to. Okay? We're what? Okay.
He wants it from us. He wants it.
Yes. Yes, correct. I would agree with that. One thing is, imagine a person declares himself king, owns acres and acres, hundreds of acres of forest. And nobody lives in the forest. He's the only one. Maybe his family. Your forest is filled with animals. Okay? Declares himself king of the forest, king of the animals. Doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean anything.
However,
there's no one.
Correct. Correct.
So
Subjects.
Same thing.
Now, if he has a few million subjects, a few 100,000, even a few thousand subjects, he has subjects, then he can be a king. Okay? If Hashem wants to be the king, he needs subjects.
That's who we are.
And that's, in a sense, what he needs us for. You want to be a king? Can't do it if you don't have people. Okay, last week we talked about having this idea of can't with God, but just by definition, you're not a king if you haven't got the people. And that's where we come in.
Maybe that's why the world was created.
Doesn't that
How long
doesn't
is
matter.
1,000 years? Is like is nothing.
That
Right.
doesn't matter. So is
No,
2,000 years.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
This is the reason for me and you. Um, I wasn't sure if I should mention this last week, and but maybe it's connect. Maybe you'll find a way that it's connected. Maybe not. Gemara says that there is a point that's made in Torah, and it's repeated in the prophets, repeated in the Ksuvim, in the writings, and that is "V'makom sha'at hamaitze gevulasei, shama tamaitze an v'sanusei." Where you find God's greatness is where you find His great humility. So in the Torah it says, Book of Devarim, Ki Hashem Elokim, Hashem our God, who Elokei, I think it says Elokei Elokim Ba'adonei Adonim. Okay, he's the God of gods. He's the boss or chief of all the chiefs. What does he do? Um, he makes sure that justice is apportioned to the widow, the orphan. Okay, now as noble as it may sound, many important people like me and hanging around with other important people. As noble as it sounds, and as much we think, so of course, the fact is that the important people hang around with the important people, many of them don't have time or patience for the ones who are overlooked. Huh? The proletariat, the widows and the orphans. So when it describes Hashem, that he is that he's the chief of all chiefs and all that, and you know what he's doing? He's worrying about the people that others overlook. Again, repeated in the prophets, and where Shochin Ad Marom v'Kadosh, like we say on Shabbos, that he is rests on high, Marom, lofty, Kadosh, holy, separate. And the next is El Ani Ushfal Ruach. I remember the whole phrase that God is attuned to the impoverished and to one of low spirit. So God is high up, and what is He concerned with?
The
Those
low.
people are those low. Verse. I have to remember what the verse and what's it called this in this same idea. So you ask about God's greatness and all this. For the Gemara's perspective is this is Hashem's greatness. The higher we describe Him, and we have many ways we describe Him. We talk about Him, but here these terms are like very lofty. Adonai Adonim, the chief of all chiefs. Marom, Chanad Marom, that He is just high up there, and He's concerned with the people that are overlooked, the indigent, and so on. Find the third one. Okay? So, nice one. All right.
The,
The king
to-
of something is.
the Torah that
You did it follows?
I did it follows.
Okay, so it means he gives power to his king. Basically, it means that he is bringing more of the divine light into the process of creation, basically, and maybe higher than that also. Yeah. penultimate parsha. You would have gone home, or you wouldn't have come back to the last class.
Plus, who's he going to give it to?
We should have said this earlier.
No, he said, why is it gracious?
Why isn't it gracious?
Why? No, who?
It's been throughout. It's just that it got raised here in our class. It got raised here. But yeah, yeah. Okay, the pasuk in Navi, Kol Amar Hashem Ram V'Nisa Shochan Ad Marom V'Kadosh Shemo. I abide and exalt the host, and then it says, okay, I don't have the Hebrew words, and it's from Isaiah 57, and from Tehillim 68 it says, Rochev Shchakim B'ka Shemo. Rochev Shchakim, that he rides on the heavens, and you asked me last week why heavens are called Shchakim. And I think it's because of it grinds blessings, divine beneficence. And then it says, Avi Samim Dayan Almanos, the father of orphans and defender of widows. Okay, so when you go, and you can go to the party, and you can go talk to the popular guy, or you can go sit down.
Anybody?
Sit down with the deplorables at the deplorable table.
That's where I usually sit. That's where I always am.
So you love company. Or I want to reject table. You can go sit with the popular people, and you go reject table. You know, it's okay. It's okay to go to the reject table and sit down. Deplorables. Okay.
Yeah. For fun.
Yeah. And then your wife, why did you sit down there?
I relate to them.
Yeah, identify with them.
I identify with them, yeah.
But you'll observe stuff. There's a lot of people who are very particular.
Oh yeah.
Of where they're going to be.
No comments. Yes.
But you know where Hashem sits.
Yes.
Quirky people.
So,
can you give me an example? Well, you had mentioned that other one, the madman. What's the Joker? Uh-huh. Complex.
it's harder to portray someone of that caliber than it is to portray somebody blah and mundane. That's easy, but you get somebody who's got problems, and it's hard to do. It's a nice island. Yeah.
fact is that it can be very difficult to be patient with these people and give them time of day.
Of course.
You can put yourself out for a more popular, respectable person.
No.
Maybe sometimes it's the other people that you don't appreciate.
People who sometimes the,
I can say,
the deplorable people appreciate more than other people. Sometimes they almost expect somebody to go out of their way for them. They take it for granted, and then when it's not doesn't happen, they gotta find something else.
I think go at the supermarket, bagging is sometimes a special needs person. Rabbi Edelman always find people like that. And this I've seen. I've seen him go over to the guy washing the floor, janitor, and say, "You're the most important person in this organization because we wouldn't have clean floors without you. We couldn't walk here without you." And he would find these people, and just the rabbi spoke to him, and the rabbi complimented him, just lifted them
Oh
up.
yeah,
I think about Rabbi Edelman. There was um, it's one of my favorite books, To Kill a Mockingbird, and
never read it.
never read it. I read it a few times, and the main character, father, Atticus, has his kids has his kids read every day to this neighbor. This neighbor would sit there and insult father in public, and the father said, "You're going to go there and you're going to read for her." And every day they would go and read a book to her, and she would sit there and curse them out the worst way, say terrible things about their father. They did this for about a month or two. The woman died. The father said could be that she was slightly had some dementia, and that's what made her so ornery. But she was dying, and she wanted to die in her terms without meds. And the meds would help calm her down. The only way she can do that was if the kids would read to her, and then she would fall asleep from the reading. And that's how she weaned herself off the meds from the kids. But 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 they didn't know what was going on,
Right.
and they hated it. Couldn't wait to get out of the house for her to fall asleep and sneak out. So my point is that go out of your way for people, speak to people. They can be these low, horrible rejects, and they may they may curse you out for it. They may not show appreciation. They may insult you, and so on.
May not be able.
Mhm.
May not be
It may be part of their condition.
right.
That's my point. It
That's
may
it.
be part of their
That's
mental
it.
condition
They may not be
that
able to express those feelings in that way.
right,
They
and they can
can't.
be nasty to you.
They can't.
That's life. Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right. Thanks. Middle of 1045.
The Torah then explains how a person gives power to him, saying, "It is because Hashem is the rock, his work is perfect." That is, man is his work, and he created him perfect, giving him a portion of all the worlds.
Man is his work, his product.
Yeah. Why did he do this? Because all his ways are just. This means that when a person performs a commandment, the angel within him is also considered to have performed it, and it benefits from his good deed. Every person possesses an angelic component, and Hashem desires that all creatures be sustained on the merit of their deeds, and not live off his charity. But an angel does not possess free choice, so he could never be sustained on his own merit. He can be sustained only through the merits of the person of whom he is a part. The good deed of the person is considered for the angel as if he did it. This is the inner meaning of the phrase, for all his ways are just.
You hear that? Hands to
Yeah, right. It is better to be sustained by the merit of one's good deeds, for otherwise one is living off of Hashem's charity, and he eats the bread of shame. Since an angel has no evil inclination, he does not possess free choice, for he has nothing to choose between. Therefore, he cannot be sustained by his own merits, for he has no way of overcoming obstacles and thereby accruing merit. By connecting man with the angels, Hashem enables the angels to partake of man's merits, and be sustained through them. This consideration for the needs of the angels is called his justice. Continuing with this verse, he is a trustworthy God.
one moment before we go. So this is called living off of God's charity. Is compared to eating bread of shame. It's something that you don't earn for yourself. This is something that's talked about regularly, and these are the terms that are used. And Hashem wants us to earn. Hashem wants us to earn His blessings, different things. Otherwise, it's getting things, getting welfare from Hashem is called like getting bread that you don't earn, bread of shame. In a similar way, it says that a person prefer one that he earns himself than 10 that he didn't work for. Okay, 1046.
Hashem nourishes and provides for the portion of the person's soul of life that he breathed into his nostrils. When the person in this world is not occupied with learning the Torah and performing the commandments, which is the soul's nourishment, when he sleeps, the soul ascends on high and is sustained by the radiance of Hashem's glory. But Hashem is a trustworthy Hashem, and returns the soul to the body, even against its will. The soul would have been perfectly happy to remain there in heaven, for it is the king's daughter, and would he refuse to feed it? Nonetheless, Hashem is trustworthy with the soul, the deposit he received from the person, and returns it to him.
What's that? Let me get a sitter, okay?
Well, yeah.
Hold it. I want to hear what you mean by that. I'm going to get a sitter.
The next Shabbos, you have your side? So it's okay. You want to have Torah this week? All right, then I'll do it next week. This week is Shabbos Para. Next week is Shabbos HaChodesh, which is my Bar Mitzvah portion. That's what I'll do next week. That one. They had the wrong Haftorah in the handout today. Good thing I get that email to me. She had
Start on page 13.
she had the wrong Haftorah. She had the right Parsha, had it with Shabbos Para, but had the Haftorah for the regular Shabbos.
Right in the middle of the page. Snap into his hand. I think that's Guillermo at the door.
Now? Why, someone ate? I didn't hear the buzzer. Yeah. Oh. At the end of the paragraph? Look at the end of the
Middle, into his hand.
into his hand. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I trust my spirit when I sleep and when I wake. And with my soul, my body too. The Lord is with me, I shall not fear.
I entrust my spirit. Means go to
When you go to
sleep.
sleep, your spirit goes up to Hashem and wake up, it gets back to you. And we're banking on the fact that he will return it to us, so we'll wake up.
Okay. The other place.
And Hashem will do his part.
Let's go to 123. This line, I entrust my spirit, and I sleep when I awake, is taken from the Tillim, which we also say before we go to sleep at night, 123. At the end of the second paragraph, I entrust my spirit into your hands, you will redeem me, Lord God. And then we go to sleep. So we end of the second paragraph. On 123, I entrust my spirit into your hand. We said before, I entrust into his hand, I entrust my spirit. And that's how we go to sleep. Hashem, I am going to sleep. And what do we? And the Hazinu that's quoted in our book here, we're saying Hashem is Kel Emunah. Hashem is trustworthy. How is he trustworthy? Because we're confident that he will that give us back our soul in the morning.
Right.
With the soul, the deposit you receive from the person. That is the neshama when we go to sleep.
Yeah. Learn that at a young age.
Yeah. Where's it from?
Page 20 again?
Where is that from? Jeremiah 10:11. What? I'm sorry. No. It refers to the false gods. Yeah. We call idols.
The gods have not made the
Not
heavens.
necessarily, I know.
Right.
Huh? What? Oh. No, I'm saying it could be if someone worships, let's say, the planet Jupiter. So Jupiter is a planet, it's not necessarily an idol, but they worship it. That's what I mean. Here, the
And
definition of gods would be stuff that gets worshipped. Yeah, right. Uh,
Zeus, Apollo, Aphrodite,
no, but
Athena.
very often they're represented by an icon, and the people
They
worship the
were
icon.
actual beings, actual.
Yes, but they made a representation out of out of an icon, not of an icon. Like they took Zeus, right? They made him into a statue.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he existed. Oh, a person, or even after. Yeah, but I'm saying even if it's not, even if it's a
Right.
um,
Is quite limited.
the Avram Avinu had laws like we have. We have a Gemara called the Avodah with chapters. It's 4 chapters. For Avraham Avinu, went into detail for all the um, idolatry that was worshipped then, and to all the laws. 400 chapters. That's what he said. That was a lot that we don't have today. Okay. When was that destroyed? Last year?
No.
This Arab Spring?
No, this probably.
Oh,
Never heard of that? No, studied. He studied of it. But elaborate. All the phenomenal works. All the.
Almay was about 2,500 years ago. Okay.
But it took care of all the works of Socrates and all the right.
One war or another.
All the Peloponnesian Wars.
It would have been for a joke. I didn't hear. So they lost a lot of knowledge then.
Oh, they found some. They find some. They found a spattering. Yeah, spattering. Found rivets. What was the year? 44? 48. Close.
Okay. 48.
48 BC.
Okay.
Yeah, but
That's a big difference. It's like almost 1,000 years. No, 500 years apart. Okay. Yeah. But good. All right. And this is
Everything, yeah.
someone just asked me yesterday, 2 days ago, how Megillah says that Jews killed 75,000 of their enemy. And the person asked how they were able to count that, keep track in such primitive times. It's like, for real?
Primitive?
Do you
Well,
know how, right, do you know how intelligent they were? Do you know how many systems they had?
I would say it was primitive, no. In some ways, we're more primitive than they are in some things we do.
And a lot. No, but it's like their numbers didn't go up that high, for example.
Oh, come
That's
on.
that's the question. And they didn't have pencils yet.
Oh, yeah. Archimedes, yeah. Some of the guys like Archimedes, I didn't have pencil. Well, give me a break. That's,
Who
oh,
was Archimedes?
who was Archimedes? Ancient scientist.
Yeah, I guess it's
Archimedes is the one that had discovered how you could determine the
water displacement.
water displacement. Right. So it determined the mass or volume by water. Yeah.
So the
A lot of Greek, a lot of the Greeks a lot of the early Greeks, remember, were killed because their ideas were so far advanced that they couldn't be accepted by the people that were there, and it went on for a long. You look at people like Socrates,
yeah.
Galileo. Socrates went, have some hemlock because he was correct in everything he did, but the people in power didn't want to believe what he said. It was against what they could understand. How far advanced?
Yeah, they had everything. Sure. You know that stone that's in the base of Migdal, it's in the Kotel below ground.
Yeah,
I think it's 45 feet end to end.
fair. Yeah.
They don't know how thick. They guess it's I don't know, at least several meters thick. It weighs like 60 tons. How they get there?
But
Do you know what shark I'm talking about? So my cousin thought he
they
said aliens. It was the best answer I've heard yet. Nice. They say the rock would crumble in its own weight. How do you? But they had to have the physics and the engineering and everything else they did.
like the idea, for example, that the Earth revolved around the sun is fairly modern,
Yes.
but the ancients predicted that years before. Yeah, they knew the Earth was not flat.
No, any scholar, and it's
Right,
clear
but,
that
but
that the world is round.
yeah, but still, but look how many people believed it, and how many people were killed because they would not agree with that. It just so as I say, we're more advanced. People understood that, but there weren't enough people understand a lot of these things. Like,
Any thinking person, I think, knew and understood. There was a lot of knowledge going
yeah.
around, and much of it has been lost. There
Oh,
was a,
very much.
I think, Adam Arishon had cures that because they hid because people follow it, no one will be afraid of dying. No one will do teshuva. One of the things that one of the examples that I see in this is how the founding fathers of our country, talking about, let's say, Jefferson, Madison, Washington, Franklin, what they understood political systems. Heard of Jefferson's library?
Yeah.
Jefferson had a vast library. I'd love to know which Hebrew books. But they knew a lot of languages.
Whatever books,
they studied it.
remember, whatever books he had are now in the Library of Congress, because when the British burned the library, he didn't donate. He sold. Isn't that dumb?
His
He
collection.
sold his collection, which was what, 30,000 volumes. It was just
20,000.
yeah.
And he read them all.
Yeah, and he donated that to the basis. So all his books that he had are all there.
There's some they just have place for them now. Like they look for copies and they try to replace the original copy. So they were very well versed in political systems, and they studied them, and they're going back thousands of years, and that's what they worked on. Then when they sat in the convention to write the Constitution,
Hall, Philadelphia.
Right, they started I think in June, finished September 17th. So they were there much longer than they planned. But they went through every detail. They discussed everything, and we have records of what they said, what they discussed, what they spoke. They did something called Committee of the Whole. Heard of that? They so that they could discuss it with the whole group, but it was just considered a committee, so that there was nothing definitive. Yeah, they were brilliant, and they came up with the system, and I believe very strongly in the Constitution because of that. And then you have all these people who say, well, the Constitution changes, and then exactly mean that. People have no clue.
Yeah.
People today who are pushing,
clueless.
I won't say socialism, I'll say socialistic policies that are totally everything against. You have people today who say that our president is destroying the country. He's, yeah, but they're saying, people say he's destroying the country, and it's destroying democracy. Destroying democracy. It's like, do you know what
democracy?
Do you know what democracy is? Do you know what Franklin and Washington and Jefferson especially and Madison of what they went through, what they discussed? I'm deliberately leaving out Hamilton because he pushed something else. Hamilton wanted a monarchy, and as the president, as the executive, he wanted a monarchy, and later he pushed many policies that he had already said weren't going to happen. So I deliberately did not mention them. But they went through all this. Now today people think they're very smart. Well, the Constitution is very old, it's written over 100 years ago, and those people didn't know. These people today
come up with it.
These people today are clueless. Not to come up, they knew and they understood, and everything that they were afraid of has happened and is happening. And it didn't start with President Trump. It didn't start with Obama. It didn't start with Bush. In 1811, Jefferson wrote, "We failed. What we tried to do already didn't work." He already saw that it failed. So people are so not aware of this, think that they're smarter, they're going around, that they have no clue of what their knowledge was and what they had studied in the Anglo-Saxon history of I remember Cicero. I don't remember which other in the Torah, from the Torah, where Yisro had Moshe divide all the people into groups, Um, they were far, far ahead of what where we are today in our understanding of political systems. And like Chaim always says, life doesn't change. And you see that here more than anything else, how much we have left, uh, how much we've left the system that they put in place. Okay, that's Chaim's soapbox. What do you?
Hashem's always present.
I'm not sure what you mean. You're being vague. What I'm going to say is that the Hamilton School has has um, hijacked our hijacked the system that was set up by the Constitution. Today they speak, and that's from Hamilton, the Whiskey Rebellion, which he was involved in, East Western Pennsylvania. That was um, it's the Whiskey Rebellion. It's the Bank of the United States. It's a
Yeah.
Nicholas Biddle. You know, Nicholas Biddle was in charge of the Bank of the United States. He had a huge fight war with Andrew Jackson, and he almost then he in order to ruin it for Jackson, he created a recession, caused a big recession, and Jackson was able to prevail. He was able to show that everything was caused by Biddle, and Biddle was the one who ended up losing. Jackson prevailed. That was in the 1820s, 1830s, going on through the Whig Party and the Republican Party. Um, Lincoln was all for corporate welfare. They made people rich through the Transcontinental Railroad, and then they all defaulted on their loans. They declared bankruptcy, defaulted on their loans from the government. The protective tariffs that he did, the bank that he put in, 1913, the Federal Reserve Act, um, Federal Reserve Act, where they took over the banking system. This is all power grabs by the by followers of the Hamilton School, and so on through the 20th century and up to today. That's why we find ourselves $23 in debt. And August 15th, 1971. Yes, that's a big part of it. But Nixon did that because in the 50s and 60s, by all the spending, the dollar got devalued. So there was a Bretton Woods agreement done by the wonderful Keynes, John Maynard Keynes. So yeah, all these things have room to hijack the Constitution. What it boils down, there's two schools of thought. One is the enumerated powers that Section 1, Article 8 of the Constitution says very specifically which powers, what the federal government has authority over, and it's a very specific list. So depending how you count it, 17, sometimes 21. It's a very specific list. That's called the enumerated powers. That's all they're entitled to. Others say that the Constitution refers to the implied powers. that they mention these specifically, but also anything else that's implied that they need to do from the country, just giving them a total, which is what they've done. So that's why I believe strongly in the Constitution. I believe that the states did not want to relent to give away power to an outside authority, and only after great consideration, discussion, and assurances that the federal government would be bound by chains. These things, the enumerated powers, did they sign? Did they sign onto the Constitution? And once they signed it, they were stuck. And when they tried to leave, the New England states wanted to leave. I think the 1820s, 1810s, 1820s. New England states wanted to secede. Ended up not. And then when the southern states wanted to secede, so Lincoln said, "You can't," and settle the matter with violence. Basically, so my point is, going back to the beginning, that that people today think they're very clever, but you see that life doesn't change. People who wrote the Constitution knew exactly what they were dealing with, and great understanding of politics that people today are ignorant, no clue, and when I say people today, I mean the professors and the constitutional experts who did. Yeah, it's included in
Yeah.
it. That's all. And that's what they believe. So, okay. Yeah. So what do you say? We're being tested. We got to do our thing, no matter what. Right? In the desert heat, in the freezing cold.
No matter what.
Right. The free world. Yeah. We serve Hashem.
Right.
Very good.
Aye.
Do what?
Not enough.
I did a funeral for this woman today. I did a funeral for this woman. She turned 100. She, after Germany invaded Poland, she was living in Warsaw, family. Germany invaded. She told her fiance, "We got to get out of here." So they escaped. They ended up in southern Siberia, Far East.
Oh,
Actually, at the beginning, they ended up outside Moscow, and then when Germany violated Russia and they invaded, then they ended up in southern Siberia, which is fine. And
Southern Siberia.
after they left, her family took a picture and sent it to her, and that's all she has left from her family. That picture. She would keep it by her bed. She would show it to me and say, "Look at my family," and she would cry. It's all I have left of them. She was married 11 years before her daughter was born. She then had a second child who lived for 18 months. Her husband was arrested under Article 58, enemy of the state, and he was released after Stalin died. That mass, um, what do you call it? Where they released a lot of political prisoners. When I when I would visit her, she would say to me, "Life is wonderful. Everything's great. I'm so happy I'm here. What a wonderful place. I never worked here, but when I came, they support me." She had nothing but gratitude, nothing but positive things to say. To look, I visited once. I told the story. At the funeral, I went around giving out the Russian newspapers. I walked into one place. How are you? Ah, can't breathe. I can't breathe. I went to another place. How are you? Not feeling so good, waiting for the ambulance to come. We just called the ambulance, waiting for them to come. I went to the third place. I don't remember what the third one was. And then I walked into this old lady. She had thick glasses like this. I was speaking to her in Yiddish. She like had trouble hearing me. She walked, wobbled, and it looked like she walked and wobbled, and it looked um, like she was gonna fall over. And I walked into her after these three things. Like, how are you? Ah, great, fantastic. What's not to like? She says, I'm so happy. And it really, I was laughing. Really, it boosted me. It boosted me. It's not easy. And I think after everything she lived through, she was the most positive person with a wonderful attitude. So you're asking me about, how people are and this and this. And sometimes, no matter what they throw at you, right? Fastball, curveball, sinker, slider, sink. If, she she took it all in stride and was very, very grateful for what she had. I said to her daughter, I said, you did a lot. Daughter took her in, last your job. Said you did a lot for mother. She says, whatever I did is nothing compared to what she did.
I remember.
Don't remember. Stopped somewhere
We are
around
on
10:47.
1046. Near the bottom.
10:47.
No,
We
we
did
did.
the top.
No, we did
We
not.
did not do it.
I did not read. Only last thing I read was But Hashem. The last two paragraphs on 1046 I did not read. Guaranteed.
Well, this is the allegorical meaning.
Yes, that's what we stopped.
10:46 is the allegorical. You want to hit that?
How many pages?